So this project is about illuminated letters, and you've probably seen illuminated letters before. So an illumination is a decoration or embellishment of a manuscript, and a manuscript is anything handwritten rather than being typed. So a book, document, music that was written by hand. If you watch the video on illuminated manuscripts, you can see that they used gold leaf, and this was a way to kind of illuminate it. It looks like it's glowing. Or, illuminate means to fill with light. So oftentimes they would decorate a manuscript with gold leaf that would reflect the light and make it look like it was really bright. Um, Oftentimes the illuminated letter was the first letter of, whatever that text was. It was large, decorated, much fancier than the rest of the text. Oftentimes there were creatures, plants, just ornate decoration that would kind of be integrated into that letter. Sometimes it would go along with the document, the context of the document. Sometimes it was just for decoration. That was a modern day example, SpongeBob, when he was writing his essay, and he spent all that time on it. You were thinking he's writing a whole essay, but he just wrote the letter the, and it was just really fancy, and it was an illuminated letter. So they can be traditional, which you probably have often seen, or we can create contemporary illuminated letters, and you will have the choice on, because we're going to be creating one, you'll have the choice of what avenue you want to take. Oftentimes, illuminated letters foreshadowed what was to come. Sometimes it was just strictly decoration, but with this one, this is a more modern day example, I think. But you can see that this is, I believe this is about Little Red Riding Hood, and you can see the beautiful border, but there's also imagery within this to show maybe what's to come. And then we also have Sleeping Beauty here. We have the vines wrapping around that first letter. So we're going to switch over and talk about the requirements for the illuminated letter that you are going to create. Here again is just another example. What do you think the context of this illuminated letter is? But we know that this is about Little Red Riding Hood, and you can see all the imagery within this that goes along with that story. So you are going to choose a quote, or you could use song lyrics, and then we're going to make an illuminated letter. So create the first letter of your quote or song, decorated and larger than the rest of the text. This is exactly what it's going to look like eventually. This is a separate piece of paper here, and we glued them onto the backgrounds. So we're going to be looking at just the illuminated part for now, and we'll talk about text and font for the rest of the quote later. My advice is choose a quote or song lyrics that are meaningful to you. Maybe something that not everyone is going to choose, something unique to you. I think this is really important, that this project is meaningful to you personally. And then choose a shorter quote, since you will be writing this out eventually. You don't have to if you're confident in writing a lot. That's totally fine, but maybe choose something that's not, 50 words. I used to have people create a poem, and then, the poem reflected what the illuminated letter had in it as well. So the imagery went along with the poem. So this one was about, this person's dislike for school. This one was about summer vacation. And then we have this girl, I believe, was going to be a music major in college. And then this girl was just showing her love for books. So how can you start brainstorming imagery that goes along with your quote or song lyrics? So an example is, it isn't where you came from, it's where you're going that counts. So some imagery, this is kind of hard to come up with pictures that go along with that. So I just started writing. So I just started past and present. What could represent that? A clock, maybe a calendar, a pathway or a road, for where you're going, fork in the road, darkness to light. Strength, maybe muscles could show that. A mindset would be a brain. Positivity could be the sun or flowers or anything. So that's an easy way to start maybe listing things, pictures that come to mind when you think of some of these things that go along with your quote. So once you get to the point where you are ready to draw, these are the requirements. So your letter obviously needs to be in some sort of font, and you probably want it to be a block letter. Then you need a border. So around the entire composition, you need a border. So this person has kind of like a picture frame style border, but you can use any of these styles as well. So maybe you have just stuff on both of the sides. Maybe you just have it top and bottom. Maybe you do something asymmetrical like these ones. Or you can have, the traditional picture frame border. So you need a border, and then you need 3 images integrated into your letter that go along with the context of your quote or poem. Or I'm sorry, quote or song lyrics. So an example of imagery integrated would be this one on the left. This is what we're going for. So, you have the flower wrapping around the letter, the water droplets are kind of weaving through, and then the sunbeams are, shining straight on the letter. Even if you have stuff in the background, that's still technically integrated because it's overlapping with the letter. So avoid this. This is much less interesting to look at than this over here. So you really want it integrated. So 3 images integrated with your letter. Your border needs at least 1 pattern or design in it. So over here they have the blue and red checkered pattern. It can be as simple as that, or you can do Zentangling, anything, pattern or design wise. And then your border also needs 1 image integrated as well. So you have your 3 images within the letter, but then you need 1 image in the border. So this person has a book, keyboard keys, and then these trees would even count as imagery in the border. Once you're ready, you have enough material to start, you're going to start and create 2 sketches. So 2 different options that you can use for your one quote. These are 2 different quotes, but you're going to use your one quote. Just create 2 options, and then once you're done, you're going to choose which one you want to do for the final. Sometimes people do a combination of both. But just create 2 mini sketches, just 2 square sketches in your sketchbook, and then just practice laying out what you want to do. Once you're done, you can take a picture of your 2 sketches and then turn them in on Google Classroom. Just make sure that you have all the requirements for the drawing portion.